And welcome back to Square Off. Republican Governor Doug Ducey is running for a second term next year. The 5 other statewide offices in state government also up for re-election. That includes Republican Secretary of State Michelle Reagan, who until a week ago was facing a primary opponent. Now, for the moment, she appears to be unopposed, but widely viewed as vulnerable even among Republicans. So, Christine Jones, a little role-playing here. You are Governor Doug Ducey's campaign manager. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's his formula for winning re-election?
Doug has a real decision to make here in this cycle where he's going to probably win by double digits, regardless of who runs against him and what their point is. He needs to decide, is he going to go way conservative and talk about the border wall and you know, sort of appeal to the right wing of the party, or does he skew a little bit more moderate, which gives him a broader national appeal, try to bring in some of the Latino voters and the minority voters whose issues may be slightly different than the pure conservatives? But I think that is a real serious, if I'm his campaign manager, decision that they have to make. And it's not that easy, because traditionally in a Republican primary, you know where we go. We have to go to appeal to the people who vote in those primaries. Yeah.
How can could Ducey succeed as a moderate against a Democrat?
Ducey has been able to fly under the radar a little bit and be a little less controversial. Other than education, I think he's been able to kind of be that moderate that he's been trying to be throughout the years. Best of luck to him running against Trump. I don't know how these Republicans do it. I really don't. We have a very polarizing president, and it is coming down. We are seeing it. It's not just Alabama. It's Georgia. It's Virginia. It's these other states. And so it really comes down to how does he separate himself, and can he separate himself from President Trump?
Okay, and I didn't want to make this show all about President Donald Trump, because it would have been really easy to do that, but we're not. But this is an important point. Chris, how does he do that? Because Doug Ducey's danced very carefully around Donald Trump.
Look, he's the incumbent governor. He's going to raise a ton of money. He's going to have millions again from the Koch brothers network. A lot of dark money will be spent on his behalf. But having said that, he's going to have Donald Trump around his neck, and he's going to have the Koch brothers and dark money around their neck. And I smell an upset in the making, because I think it is a wave election year. I think it's historic. We've Alabama, Virginia, New Jersey, particularly New Jersey and Virginia, the governor races there. I think a lot, the turnout, that's the key turnout from the Democrats and independents that normally aren't that excited about off-presidential election years. They are excited. There is a resist movement. People want to send a message to Donald Trump. They're going to come and vote for a lot of Democrats. And don't count out the David Garcia campaign. I've gotten to know some of the inner workings of that campaign. It is David Garcia has a dynamic, a progressive political movement really going on. He is recruiting an enormous number of young people that have never gotten involved before. That plus the wave, as I said, I think we could have a real barn burner there.
And I will speak up for Steve Farley, not as a supporter, but to give him equal time.
Quality guy.
State Senator Steve Farley, Democrat, running against Garcia. Big race. How daunting do the Democrats look to a Republican right now?
I actually saw a debate between the two Democrats, and I thought they were both grown-ups and professional, and although I disagree with them on almost every policy issue, I thought they were both legitimate candidates for a change. So I think, to Chris's point, we have to pay attention to that. I don't really think it's a deal in Arizona, given the voter registration advantage for Republicans, but I do think the Republicans have to take seriously this insurgent challenge, which is a potential from Tim Jeffries, who served in the Ducey administration and is now sort of on a kamikaze mission, and a fearless guy. If you meet him, I think that's probably the more serious sort of fly in the ointment, because
so that's real.
So Tim Jeffries was fired by Governor Ducey as Director of Economic Security amid controversy. And same question Chris is asking you. You think he is a real possibility to primary the governor?
I think it's a real possibility, and I'm not even sure he runs as a Republican. I think if he were to really want to make a point, he could get in as an independent, be around for the entirety of the general cycle. And even though he may not have a chance to win because of the way the parties are structured in Arizona. It could still really upset the balance there and pull votes off of the Republicans.
I want to go to Lisa and turn to the Secretary of State's race. Katie Hobbs and Mark Gordon are running. State Senator Katie Hobbs, Mark Gordon, an attorney running on the Democratic side against Michelle Reagan, or whoever else emerges from that primary. How vulnerable is Reagan in your eyes?
She's very vulnerable. I think the Maricopa County has showed us with the election on the county recorder side that they do not like incompetence. They want their elections run well, and Michelle Reagan has not demonstrated that she's been able to do that. I will note that I think Steve Montenegro, if he isn't successful in that congressional race, still might make the deadline that he could run for Secretary of State. I believe that's the case.
He could still file papers
she might be vulnerable in primary, but on the general side, it's going to come down to fundraising. I think we won't know much about the Democratic side until we see these fundraising reports at the end of the year. We'll know early next year which one is a viable candidate.
But to Christine's point about turnout, Democrats typically have a 12-point disadvantage against Republicans in midterm turnout. We hear about the excitement, but boy, that's a big hill to climb.
It is a big hill to climb. I think we're seeing in all these other states, turnout is there. Democrats are engaged and they are excited, but we need to be talking also about persuasion, because you're talking about the registration advantage. Independents have the registration advantage here, and on education, immigration, and all of these issues that you've brought up, Bram, they're going to be siding with Democrats. So we're going to have an engaged base. We are going to be persuading people who are moderates, who sometimes go Republican in this state. I think they're going to go Democrats, and it's going to be a great year.
All right, got to end it there.